Hello everyone. Cold Saturday morning here in North London, Weston. Um, I was recently looking up a an old favourite film of mine, The Battle of the Bulge. Not particularly historically spot on, to say the least. Apparently, it was even criticised by Eisenhower for really, you know, squeezing into a 2 hour film events that took place over, you know, possibly 2 months or so. Um, but Hollywood, they had to do what they had to do to make a successful film. Um, I just looking through. I've had a copy of the film for some years, and I was just looking through um, on eBay for anything to do with the film. There are some film sales um, which are quite expensive to buy. The little frames from the actual film reel, and also some cinema programs of the time. I think it was about 1965 the film was made. Anyway, I noticed one of these. I think they were originally sold as gum cards, and they came in sets, and it was basically the characters from the film. The infamous Colonel Hessler, played by Robert Shaw, Henry Fonda there, Robert Ryan, and Dana Andrews as the skeptical Colonel Pritchard. The film obviously attempted to tell the story of the Battle of Bulge, December 1944, when a reputedly quiet sector of the Ardennes, um, with troops either inexperienced or battle fatigued on the American side, were suddenly attacked by upwards of 200,000 German soldiers who Hitler had basically put together from units taken from the east and otherwise less elite troops, shall we say, were placed in the line, and for some days the Germans made good headway. They were attempting to reach Antwerp and split the British and American armies. They were held up, amongst other places, at Bastogne, a central hub of, I think it was 7 different roads, and it was notable for the use of, or the attack on the German side was noticeable for the use of English-speaking Germans dressed in captured American equipment, played here by, I think it was Ty Harding was the actor's name, played Schumacher, one of the commandos who attempted to sow sort of confusion amongst the American troops. And for a while it worked. People were sort of quizzing each other on their favourite German baseball player, and trying to ascertain whether someone was a genuine American or not. And I think even Eisenhower was held up at one point by someone quizzing him. Telly Savalas played a tank commander. Um, I think it's James MacArthur, who later went on to play a character in Hawaii Five-0, the original series. He was one of the two soldiers who, well, he avoided being massacred at the Malmedy massacre, where SS troops took about 100 American prisoners and mowed them down. And one of the massacres that took place, another one was the Wereth 11, 11 African American troops captured and tortured and shot after being forced to fill petrol tanks, I believe, at that time. Or maybe actually that wasn't that incident, but several sets of troops were were forced to fill the tanks of the Tiger tanks. Um, yeah, Charles Bronson. It was always a good film. I mean, I always found it to be a very entertaining film, and like most of these films, including I have to say, Braveheart, might not be particularly accurate, but it tends to encourage you to look for more information. I mean, a lot of people just watch the film and then just take it as history, and then leave it at that, and that's fine. I mean, it's a piece of cinema. But most of these films, it encourages me, at least anyway, to try and get some further information, even if it's an Osprey campaign book or something a bit bigger than that. Always been fascinated by the Battle of the Bulge. I mean, I went out there a number of years ago in midwinter, and yeah, we had a tour around there. It was, very, very. Um, it's as close to history as you can get sometimes when you see the actual foxholes that the Americans were in. Anyway, I digressing a little bit. Um, I recently, well, I'd been aware of them for some time, but there was a Mars box of U.S. infantry winter uniform, which they'd got for the box top illustration a scene from the film Battle of the Bulge. Uh, yeah, that was Sergeant Duquesne, who was actually in the film killed at the Malmedy massacre, and it attracted me because, as I say, trying to pick up something reasonably priced, anything to do with the film Battle of the Bulge, and then at the same time, I decided to paint the US troops. I thought, well, I've got to have a bit of opposition, so I went for World War II Panzer Grenadiers of the Ardennes from the Caesar miniatures range. Very good range of figures. Um, I've got a couple of them here. I don't know if this is going to show up amazingly well, but let me see. Yeah, I've given them a little bit of brush over of white. They've got that kind of scattered camouflage top or smock, uh, and yeah, I come up reasonably well. I've still got to finish the bases. Um, Quite pleased, quite enjoyed painting them, which is, I suppose, the main thing really. I did another one in all over white camouflage. Um, as I say, I don't know if I'm getting these too well in focus, but yeah, I was quite pleased. I don't generally do World War II, but as I say, this was a special case in which I was quite happy to pick up the set of Mars figures, particularly with the association with the box top cover of the film Battle of the Bulge. Actually, Mars have come a long way. Their figures are so much nicer now than they used to be. Um, there's not any longer the terrible amount of flash that there used to be. They used to be horrific, some of them. And yeah, I quite again the main thing. I enjoyed painting these. Still got a bit of snow to go on the bases and tidied up a little bit, but some of them with like brownish overcoats, and I didn't get a ton of reference material. I got the two Osprey books on the Battle of the Bulge, and they showed up, a reasonable amount of detail. And yeah, the figures had little or no cleaning up required. Little light brushing of white over them to give them a little bit of, a chilly look, shall we say. The other thing that struck me, and I'm not the first person to do this, I think Bob out in the United States um, did a similar thing, and that is to actually diverge from history somewhat. In the film, although it's 1965, they didn't seem to be able to, or chose not to go to the bother of getting original tanks, or that's to say the models used, Shermans, Tigers, etc. What they did do was they had the uh, Chaffee tank standing in for the Shermans. I would have thought at that time they should have been able to get a couple of Shermans at least, but nevertheless they didn't do that. The more incongruous thing was that the American Tiger tanks were portrayed by US Patton medium tanks, which was actually a post-war tank. I mean, I think significantly into the post-war period, and they were used in the film, painted grey, iron crosses on them, and I decided in a moment of madness to, because I don't actually war game, I just collect. I thought I would go for a war games army and a number of examples of the tanks, but as portrayed in the film. In addition, I got the good old Airfix M3 half track, which was used in the film, painted grey again as a German commander vehicle. So yeah, nothing very historic about it, but I mean, it's just it's just trying to do something a little bit different, and I just, the enjoyment of painting them. I haven't made model kits for quite some time, to be honest. I didn't even have any cement or anything, you know, to uh, to do them properly. But I've just assembled a few things, and as I say, I'm going to do a set of armor and half-track vehicles based upon those vehicles used in the film. And well, the figures themselves are, historically um, after the originals. Main thing, as I say, I've enjoyed doing it. Um, not been too well recently, so the pace has slackened somewhat. But I found painting these plastic figures, particularly the more recent issues, which have been virtually flash free. I mean, I recently did a British and Boer armies, which it's got the manufacturer escapes me for a moment, but Strelets, I think it was, and I enjoyed doing those. So I'm on to these now, and then as I say, I'll do the armor next, and yeah, I mean, it's not, as I say, it's not history as we know it, but it's just a little amusement, really. Just just something a little bit different. As I say, I'm not going to war game, um, so I'm just really going for the novelty of it. Uh, I'll sort of make a battle set or play set, if you like, based upon Battle of the Bulge, the film. I've been selling things on eBay, some of my old treasures, and yeah, not doing too badly on eBay. Sold a lot of 132nd stuff, and quite a number of the Italeri battle sets, one of which I'd actually completed all the figures, and yeah, not looking for a fortune for those, but just basically if I can get my money back, I'll be quite content. Uh, Otherwise, I plod on with this, and it's amazing how different things take you. I mean, I wasn't thinking too much about the Battle of the Bulge, although coincidentally, the week that I did start to purchase the figures, I suddenly saw an article on the news. It was the 80th anniversary of the Battle of the Bulge, just before Christmas, of course, December 16th. And I thought, well, okay, that's an omen. I'll stick with that. As I say, done all the figures, just 2 boxes. Uh, Colossal amount of choice in terms of German infantry, but as I say, in the end, I went for the Ardennes 1944 box, and yeah, just enjoying it, which I guess is the main thing. I keep saying I'm enjoying it. I haven't always. I've sometimes regarded it as a bit of a chore, and that's not a good thing, is it? Of course, for a hobby, but I'm really enjoying what I'm doing. As I say, the base is going to have some scenic snow on there, and you know, dress them up a little bit. But they've got a chill look about them. They do look a little bit. The Germans not so much, but yeah, the Americans. I went over them with a bit of white primer and a dry brush, and it's not too bad. Some of the helmets, the Germans, I noticed in reference material, were painted white. Um, by that time, there was a little bit of, you know, uh, sort of variety in what was going on in uniforms. Even the Americans, they struggled to get winter equipment to the troops at first, and all sorts of stuff was worn. But I've got a book, Blood Red Tide, I think it's called. Um, but there are numerous books on the battle, and just for background detail. But for me personally, I just watch the film and go with what's in that. So no, it's not going to be historically spot on, but as I say, in respect to the film, I'm going with it. But yeah, getting a lot of enjoyment out of the hobby. Sometimes difficult times, and just to sit at this table, uh, it uh, it it kind of refocuses you, regroups you, and refreshes you. So yeah, I'm going to stick with it. Still enjoying all your videos, Fraser, Ralph, everybody. I know a lot of people have dropped by the wayside for various reasons. That included myself. You sometimes, as I say, health gets in the way, and what do they call it, real life. But otherwise, yeah, still plugging away and enjoying it. Hope you're all well, and it's what are we, January the 10th or something now. I won't say Happy New Year, but anyway, we'll see what happens. Thanks, everyone. Bye.